Okay, today we're going to talk about Egypt, ancient Egypt, and the Egyptian Empire. So you will be able to describe the ancient Egyptian Empire, some of the developments that were developed during that time, and the different theories of ancient Egypt. So today we're getting ready to dive into this PowerPoint about ancient Egypt, and it should give you some in-depth knowledge about that. Then after we are done, we will go to the modules section and you will answer the questions of the PowerPoint. So the Great Pyramid is believed to have been built over a 20-year period. 2 million stones were used during that time. It took about 20 years. So in this, we have some questions in pounds. How much does the Great Pyramids weigh? 2.5 times 2,000 minus 5,000 pounds. I mean, equals 5,000 pounds. And then we have 5,000 times 2 million stones equals 2 million. I mean, not 2 million, but 10 million stones, or 100 million stones. Sorry, 100 million stones. Now, assuming that workers worked a 5-day work week and worked 50 out of 52 weeks each year, how many stones did they set each day? So it would be approximately 400 stones they did each day. Remember, each one of these stones was 2.5 tons. So that is very, very heavy, 2,000 pounds. So think about if you go to the weight room or you pick up something, it's mainly a lot of times less than 5 pounds. So think of 2,000 pounds. So think of a car or a 2-ton truck, like the big, big trucks. That's what they would be putting on, would be carrying to set up. So very, very large. Ancient Egypt, the Egyptian River Valley. So right here, we have the Egyptian River Valley. So you see Africa right here, and then Egypt's in here, which Egypt is part of Africa. Actually, Africa is a continent, as we all know. And then we have Egypt as one of its countries. The Egyptian River Valley, you have Lower Egypt right here, and you have Upper Egypt right here. And if you notice, it's developed on water, on a river. So most of early civilization was developed on water, and the reason why is because you could transport food. It was a source of it was a way that you could get from place to place. And actually, water, you need water to live also. Then you have the delta right there that had many deposits of silt at the mouth of some of the rivers. 4 million BC. So this is before Christ. Earliest known human ancestor lives in Africa. So you have some people who say Africa is where the first person actually came from, or the first human is from Africa. So this is or the Egyptian area. So, and if we think Egypt is actually in the continent of Africa, and then Neanderthals spread from Africa to Europe and Asia, and then agriculture begins in various places. And then along the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, cities begin to develop. And then King Menses unifies Egypt. What we'll see is there was little rainfall, thus relied on the Nile River's yearly floods and for water and silt. King Menes, Nomar of Upper Egypt, conquered Lower Egypt, uniting Egypt as one. The capital of Egypt was Memphis. There were 3 ruling dynasties there were ruling dynasties, and it was 3 periods of time. So you had the Old Kingdom, the Middle Kingdom, and the New Kingdom, which we'll discuss right now. The Old Kingdom was from 2700 BC to 2200 BC, right here in green, right here, beginning of the Old Kingdom. And then you see the main keys right here is theocracy, um, bureaucracy, and visor. So visor is something you guys might not know about, but it's controlled trade, tax collection, and building of infrastructure. Bureaucracy is government where most decisions are made by government officials rather than the king. So that's what we have here in the United States a little bit is, you have Donald Trump, but then you have Congress. And those are government officials that make decisions before the president of the United States. And then you have we have local governments, which is what we're going on in the school systems right now. Different schools are opening, different schools are closed, different schools are virtual. And that's all because of bureaucracy and the government officials in each level and each community making their decision. So we will talk next about the Middle Kingdom, or not Middle Kingdoms, but we'll talk about the pyramids right here. This is D. So they were developed during this time of the Old Kingdom. And tombs, they were tombs that honored their gods and gave them eternal place of rest. So that is the pyramids. The Middle Kingdom was from 2200 BC to 1800 BC. Egypt conquered by the Hyksos, ruled Egypt for 110 years, introduced chariots and bronze weapons to Egypt. So if you look right here, you see the chariot, you have the horses right here, and then him with this bronze weapon. In the green right here, this is showing the middle of the Middle Kingdom, 2050 BC to 1800 BC. You had Queen Hatshepsut came to power, extensively built Europe, and then built Europe to its largest height. I mean, not Europe, but Egypt to its largest height. And then Ramses II, Egypt's most powerful pharaoh, signed the first known peace treaty. So in the new kingdom, I mean, a lot of people have maybe heard of this, but that's where you have the Nubians, and then they pretty much rivaled against the Assyrians, the Persians, and you'll see this in movies that that you probably have watched, like Spartacus, things like that. That's where you hear about the Assyrians, the Persians, the Greeks, and the Roman Empire. The Nubians adopted much of Egyptian culture, and they actually were rivals from the south and conquered Egypt in 750 BC. If you notice with these BCs, it's actually, or before Christ, it starts larger and then goes down to after Christ. So you start at 8,000, and then each year it goes down, go down, go down. So that's why you see it right now at 1800 BC. So why is Menses so important, and how did ancient Egyptians view the pharaohs? So in this, you can go ahead and get your answers through the PowerPoint, and I think it showed you. Like, one thing we'll say is right here. This might answer one of your questions. Tombs that honor their gods and kings give them eternal peace. So think about this. They actually, a big truck, these big rocks are for the pyramid, or big stones. So it would be like putting a big truck on each one of these and laying those down. That would actually show the sacrifice and the commitment that the community had for their kings. And they treated them as gods pretty much, and they were sacred. They were sacred. So they would do anything for their kings. Many people died while building these pyramids. So this just shows some of the sacrifice and commitments and how they felt about their kings. So that could answer your question right there. Now, what we'll do is we'll get out of here and then you can answer your questions. So we'll go to the module section. Modules, and then we'll go into Wednesday work, Egyptian Empire, and then you will who united Upper and Lower Egypt into one. That was, I'll give you this answer, that was Menses. What are the three periods in Egypt in which Egypt is organized? So we talked about those three periods, and we talked about the visor. So that is where we're at. Answer these and then submit, and then I'll grade your papers, and then I will go over the answers on Friday.